All right, so let's talk about this Steve Harvey stuff, right? The Steve Harvey story. I don't know if you guys saw that news everywhere. Everybody kept talking about Steve Harvey filing for divorce, blah blah blah. Okay, the first time I saw it was about 3 days ago. They literally started a room on Clubhouse. You know, she filed for 200. She filed and she's asking for $200 million settlement. Number one, she cheated. Allegedly, that's what they said. They said she cheated, and they said she's asking for. She cheated on him with the bodyguard, right? And now there is a story. I think in Steve Harvey's book, he said it himself that he met his wife, Marjorie Harvey. Who is Steve Harvey, by the way? Steve Harvey is American comedian. You know, TV host, radio host. Everything hosts like multiple different TV shows at any point in time. Apparently he's worth about $400 million now, you know. But he's been married about 3 times. He wrote a book called Think Like a Man, Act Like a Lady. Yeah, something like that. You know, that a lot of men that have never read that book actually don't appreciate the book. It's the weirdest thing ever. Gentlemen, come on, you have to do better. You never read a book, but you just have extremely strong opinions about the book. That's weird. Who is going to tell us that is weird? Who is going to eventually get to that part of the conversation that's just weird, to cast unnecessary judgments without paying a little bit closer attention to what's going on, regardless of what it looks like on the outside. I know what it looks like on the outside to date a lady that used to be with that used to be a kingpin herself. Apparently, used to be a kingpin, allegedly. Used to be a drug kingpin. She was with a dude that was in jail for a long amount of years. Right? I know what it looks like on the outside. Like, one day she's going to take all the money and just run away. Right? But to just make absolute, or to be actively looking for the downfall of that family, that's weird. That's very, very, very weird. Anyway. So, over this past weekend here and there, you know, they started dragging Steve Harvey, and you could just hear the desire that this news is true. They said she cheated on him with the bodyguard. He had said it before that he met the lady through bodyguard, but they've been married now for, let me see, 12 years, something like that. That they've been married. Steve Harvey is 66 years old now. Has been married to Marjorie since 2007. Not 12 years, 16 years. Okay, same amount of time I've been married. 16 years they've been married, right? But we have a lot of people fantasizing, not just men, by the way, only, not just men. We have a lot of men and women fantasizing about the breakdown of this marriage. This is weird. Very, 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 very weird. Right? They have whatever they call their reasons for thinking, or because he wrote that book. The book, apparently in the book, have I ever read that book? I don't think so. You know, but I know there's a part of the book that's a popular part of the book where he suggested that women should wait 3 months before they sleep with a man. The 3 months is just a placeholder, okay? It doesn't sound like it's a rigid thing. It's just the idea is to get to know a person before you start participating in sex with them. Why would that be anything strange to? Why would that be a strange thing to anybody? Now, the idea of thinking like a man, I think that has created problem for people that might actually take that literally, right? Because, you know, I want you to think like a woman. I want you to be aware that a man is different from a woman, but thinking like a man, that's going to put you in a position that you're always going to be looking over your shoulder, trying to protect yourself, and you cannot be vulnerable in that space, you know? But anyway, he's been married for he's been married 3 times, he's divorced 2 times or so. So they try to use that to shame him and stuff like that. And I get that, you know, we can't take advice from people that have been divorced before. He's been married consistently for 16 years. Consistently for 16 years. Pay attention to that, right? He's figured something out. Does that mean they're going to be together forever? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Oh, by the way, it is possible that that news would have been true. It still doesn't justify the active fantasizing about people's marriage breaking down. That is weird. Somebody came onto my Instagram page. Make sure you're following me on Instagram. I beg, now go follow me on Instagram. It's called Man of Prestige __. Okay. By the time you finish typing the first underscore, it should come up on Instagram. Okay. And the person was like, no, it's because they flaunt it like they are perfect. Correct me if I'm wrong. People do their life, right? They put pictures on the internet. They take pictures, sweetie, selfie, right? But I'm not sure if anybody has ever really outrightly said, we want to look perfect. Has anybody ever done that? I mean, this is just our own assumption in our head whenever it looks nice. By the way, keep this at the back of your mind. Every picture, most pictures that most normal human beings put on the internet are highlights. I put a picture of myself and my wife at Tiwa Savage concert up, was it 2 days ago, yesterday? I did. Right? That was a highlight. That's not how we are all the time. You're right. Sometimes we have disagreement. Do I need to come and tell you that every time, like before you can pray for us that everything is fine with our family? Or does that look like we're playing perfect on the internet? That is very, 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 very weird. Okay? It's very, very weird. But let me come into the chat really quickly before I continue with this story. Okay, he's come out since then, by the way, to debunk some of the stories. It was like, we're fine. He said he didn't have time to be answering rumors, and I like that. Oh, it sounds like music to my ears. Okay, the wife also made a statement and say, you know what, at some point we have to kind of like we have to be responsible, right? But I want to share Igimaruwe. That beg you. I don't know how to say that in English. If you can help, please, yeah, we're observing these people. Either they're going through it or it was all just a rumor. At the end of the day, the reason why I cover some of these trendy stories is so that we can reflect. So we can say, hey, let's self-reflect, right? Why is it that I react that way? Why wasn't your reaction, oh my God, why was your reaction? A lot of best reaction on this YouTube platform was like, I told him, I knew that guy was going to get in trouble. You did? You knew? How?
Wait.
How did you know? Right? How did you know? If this is your outlook on marriage and family, and you are actively looking, if you're not looking for marriage, you're probably not in this conversation anyway. But if this is your outlook, you're playing with your future. Okay? I'm just letting you know.
They use your future to play.
You're playing with your future. Because again, it's your outlook, it's yours, it's your shadow. It will follow you everywhere. The way you interpret these issues will follow you everywhere you go. Okay? And by the way, it's possible that Steve Harvey might divorce tomorrow. That has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. Okay? Chi Alpha. Let's see. Mr. Ola, your best friend in the other echo chamber, I've been calling him some of their favorite words. Elkene is a weirdo. If you're talking about Elkene, it's a weirdo. They wanted the news to be true so bad. Jesus Christ. Steve loves that woman. Not only did Steve loves that woman, everything in life is about patterns. You have to pay attention to the fact that there are patterns in these things, right? If somebody has been with somebody for 16 years, the longer they have been with them, the lower the chances that they will divorce. Have you ever heard that before? Does that not make sense? Just typical sense, right? And if they end up being the exception and they end up divorce, people do divorce at 16, 25, 35 years. People don't see it coming. Usually there's been issues, right? But if you look at the way these people move in public, right, it's the same way they're fantasizing that Will Smith and the wife will break up one day. I know what Will Smith and the wife looks like on the surface. That will never be you. I get it. But you calmed down for a second and say, you know what is going on in people's household? You just don't know. You don't know what they've been through together, no matter what it looks like on the surface. You have no idea. And the longer they've been together, the lower the chances that they will ever break up. It's all chances. Yes, they can still break up. Are you happy? But it's still weird to just run around the internet and celebrate it before even ordinary TMZ. You can't wait for TMZ to confirm the news at least. TMZ, media takeout. I know they're all rumors too. Wait for something like that. They couldn't wait. That's weird. I still think it's weird. 40 watching, 28 likes. Can we keep the likes coming? Thank you so much, D. I appreciate you. Please, we're missing 20 likes right now. I appreciate that. Thank you. Ola, bad news travel fast. Unfortunately, a lot of people are too lazy to verify a story. That's true, Sparkle. I'm very, very aware of that. Very, very aware of that. But thank you for putting some light on that. It's very, very true. Negative. Somebody said the other day, bullshit sells. I was like, yeah, we know that. That doesn't mean you should lose your sense of purpose as an individual. That doesn't mean you should completely disconnect, like bullshit sells, so I should just go and be throwing anything out there. We know that. Okay? We know this. That's why we are actually covering trendy topics and connecting it to lessons. We know that. Brother Kenneth, we have a few days with this rumor. I bet he did. I haven't seen him though. Anyway, I don't think he flaunts it like it's perfect. He has a good time with her. Yeah, if I'm having a good time with my partner, does that look like I'm flaunting perfection? Is that what the Indomie generation considers flaunting perfection? That is weird. We gotta fix that. I think one of the reasons people are hating on them is because that word on the street is that he treated his previous wife badly. Yeah, because it was obviously at least 16 years younger than 66. People evolve, people learn, people become better, they become more skillful. That's the reality. Oh, so they become more skillful. Reality later, and the other woman don't collect. Yes, that's the reality. You two become better. So that you can, you're still here, you can still make the most out of what you have left, which is a lot. Your whole life is ahead of you. The rest is just the past. But what is most people doing? They're taking their pain, they're projecting. Misery loves company. That's true for all of us. I'm just letting you know, you need to be aware of that and you need to mitigate. You need to be aware of that and push against yourself. Okay? Nobody wants to be in a funky place. You don't want to be in a funky place, regardless if you've been in there before or not. So it's still weird that increasing number of people, social media does that, magnifies it, I get it. But for you as an individual, I want you to consider starting today, it is weird to go out there and start running around the internet and celebrating it. Okay? I wonder the insider that sold the story to the tabloids. Yeah, insider call. Yeah, it didn't look real to me, but I could have been wrong. Anyone can file for divorce. Don't get that twisted. That doesn't change what we're talking about right now. Okay? Anyone can file for divorce. Don't be all shocked. Anybody is guaranteeing nothing or anything like that. Nobody's guaranteeing nothing. But there's some things you just see. You just know that it's highly unlikely. Like, if you live in America, it's highly likely that you will wake up tomorrow morning. Right? That something will just happen. They won't be able to figure it out. Right? It's highly unlikely that this light will blink. There's some things you just know off of track records. The longer it is, the higher the chances it won't change. In that respect. But no, a bunch of simps on the internet are literally waiting for, quote unquote, the simp to fall. Weirdos, simps, weirdos. Thank you, Jerry Chinye. I meant the red pole. I know what you're talking about, D. I got you. If something happens, Steve will be deeply hurt. He'll be hurt, of course. Someone that I know posted it, and one of my friends asked him if he verified the story. Nah, I'm not even expecting to verify a story. I just found it fascinating, the rejoicing. That's what I found fascinating. I'm like the fact that it spread, I'm not, that's normal. Internet, negative news spread. When I see certain individuals, like they literally told some people, did you verify the story? It's like, it doesn't matter. Can we still discuss the topic? I was like, yeah, but the topic doesn't exist. Which one do you want to discuss? The fact that people can divorce, because that's possible. Right? My observation over the past few days is that happily married people were not discussing this like that. They could care less. Okay, that's my observation, but that's just my little anecdotal observation. Okay, but there are people that are married discussing this, and they actively, and a lot of them, you look at them closely, they are suffering. There's telltale signs. Okay, they're concluding that it's just bad everywhere because it's been bad for them. That's why, right? And your story is not necessarily other people's story. No matter how much we try to make that, there are patterns, there are things that you and I go through. You know, there's some things, but at the end of the day, it's different from people to people. Let me see. Then he was bent over backwards and said, if the rumor was about a man, no one would be asking him to check the sources. You see, again, that person is telling on themselves. So that person is in a gender war with themselves. That's weird. How are you in your gender war by yourself? That's weird. People, he has done a lot of growing up. People grow up, right? So I give that stat here from time to time. Second, third marriage, 75% divorce rate. But the ones that get it, the one that figure it out, they figured something out. They figured something out. It will have to be something extremely terrible, like principalities, spirits from the topmost highest order of the devilish inside of the dunks of the sea that will come and attack them, because human beings have patterns. If we get to know each other and we know each other, we wake up, we are happy every day. Eventually it becomes second nature. You don't have to struggle with up and down, in love, out of love. You don't have to struggle with that anymore at some point. It just is. Right? So it's gonna be very hard to replace for her to replace a Steve Harvey. Did you think about that? If you want to be a man that's very hard to replace, that's what you should be focused on. Not fantasizing that this marriage is broken up. That's weird. Did I say weird already? Anyway, if you don't get it at this point,
you get it. Okay. If you don't get it, forget about it.
All right. Let's move on. We will cover more of it if we get a chance to come back to it. Yeah, instantly it looked very, very fake to me. Instantly before, but they already debunked the story is fake and stupid, you know. But I had to talk about this.